No, it's fine. I mean, it's,
Let us center ourselves in this sacred space. Pretty soon there'll be pictures of the beautiful ephemeral flowers of early spring in northern Michigan, which we will show on the screen today. They were taken and contributed by our own talented photographer and forester, Dave Newhouse. Thank you, Dave. Good morning and welcome. I'm Ann Stevenson with the Sunday Services Committee. We are a welcoming community here at Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Grand Traverse, made up of individuals from many different backgrounds and identities. We are so happy you're here to share our annual Flower Communion, or as I prefer to call it, our Festival of Bloomin' and Becomin'. Back in 1923, over 100 years ago, Dr. Norbert Čapek established a Unitarian church in Czechoslovakia. It was made up of congregants from diverse religious backgrounds. He felt they would respond to a communion service which did not rely on the Eucharist or any other religion's practices. He liked the idea of a flower communion. Each person contributes a flower, resulting in a beautiful, diverse bouquet. We will be doing that coming up. And then each person takes home a different flower from that bouquet. I like that symbolism. If you're a visitor today and would like to introduce yourself, raise your hand and a microphone will be brought to you. I think. There it is, thank you. We would like you to if you'd like to introduce yourself, raise your hand and the microphone will be brought to you. We do this to assure our online listeners can hear you. Anybody today? Okay. Sharing your joys and concerns with this beloved community helps us stay connected. Your joys and concerns may be written in the book on your left, where those candles are lit. You may add to the book or light a candle at any time during the service or before the service. Your written joys and concerns will be shared by Ann Sweeney of the Congregational Care Team a little later in the service. I have 3 quick announcements, and then we have one from Dan Tholen. My 3 are, our annual meeting is next week, Sunday the 14th. I would like you to, when you go in the social hall today, check out the biographies of returning and newly nominated leadership. They're posted in the social hall. On June 20th, which would be a week later, please plan to attend our summer solstice gathering and farewell party for Reverend Alex, which will be held at Sailor Park. There are more details in the flash. I understand we may be roasting Alex, and we may be roasting hot dogs, or we may be roasting both. On June 21st, the week after that, will be Alex's last service here in our sanctuary. We're going to join at 10 that morning for sharing memories of his years with us before the UUA General Assembly begins at 11 o'clock. The UUCers have a special performance for that service. I have heard them practicing it, and it's pretty fun. I hope you come. Now let us quiet our minds and our devices to be fully present, with one another as we worship this morning.
Good morning, Dan Tholen with with the Board of Trustees. Just had to make a quick update on the interim search committee. I'm really happy to announce that we do have a signed contract right now. And so we will have, or we're pretty sure we're going to have an interim minister for the next 2 years. We do have a few more little details to work out, so we're not allowed to announce any more details. We will do that next week. So at the annual meeting or before, we'll let you know the individual's name and a little bit more about him. Thank you.
Thank you for that really lovely music this morning. A real cozy way to start off Sunday. Whoever you are and wherever you are on life's journey, you are welcome here with us this morning. I'm Reverend Alex, the minister here at UUCGT. I use he and him pronouns. And welcome to one of my most favorite of our UU celebrations, the Flower Communion. This Sunday, we celebrate a tradition that goes back to our Unitarian siblings in Czechoslovakia, 103 years ago since we started this practice of gathering our flowers and blessing them. Also, this is our first Sunday in June, which is of course coinciding with Pride Month, so happy Pride to everyone. Happy Pride, come on. All right, we'll work on that. June's gonna be a long month without that energy. As we join together and we reflect on the abundance of beauty found in our midst, hear these words from Czech Unitarian pastor and the Flower Communion's originator, the Reverend Norbert Čapek, who wrote these words in 1942 in a Dresden prison. In the depths of my soul, there where lies the source of strength, where divine and human meet, there quiet your mind, quiet. Quiet. Outside, let lightning rain, horrible darkness frighten the world. But from the depths of your own soul, from that silence will rise again the flower of God. Return to yourself, rest in yourself, live in the depths of your soul where divine and human meet. attune your heart to the eternal, and in the depths of your own soul, your panting quiets down. Quiet, quiet. Where divine and human meet, there is your refuge.
As Reverend Alex lights our chalice this morning, please take a few minutes to consider the simple daisy. Put enough up there, you should probably be able to see it. A flower of joyful childhood memories. Who can't remember daisy chains? Saying, daisies are doozies. Saying, fresh as a daisy. The tiny shining suns. Of course we all remember love me not. It was a serious undertaking. The bright center, which is yellow, was called Day's Eye in Old English, which guess what we call it today? Daisy. Now, please join me in affirming our covenant on the back of your order of service. I am accountable for me.
You are accountable
For you.
in community. We hold each other in joy and conflict. We openly welcome all as we respond to the needs of the world.
I invite you to please rise as you are willing and able to join me in our opening hymn, number 21, For the Beauty of the Earth.
Actually,
Just kidding. One second.
I forgot to give you some instructions because we're going to have a time of gathering our flowers first.
Oh, yes.
So it's good that you're already on your feet. We're going to join now in gathering our flowers into these vases up here in front of the altar. These flowers symbolize each person that forms a part of this congregation and community. And each of us is unique and different, much also like the flowers that we brought with us today. And so as we gather these flowers, I invite you to think about your uniqueness, your unique gifts, and what makes you, you. And in a moment, I'll be inviting you into different groups to come forward so we don't have too many traffic jams up here. If you can't make the journey up here to put your flower, you can also raise your hand, and one of us can come around and also bring your flower up. So let us now gather our flowers. This group here.
Well, now that we have this gorgeous bounty, it seems really appropriate that we all stand as we are willing and able to sing for the beauty of the earth.
Kids want to come forward for our time for all ages, we can gather here on the carpet. Come on up, friends. How are we this morning? You feel very far away. So this morning we are talking about our flower ceremony, and I have the story of how this got started. So in the city of Prague, in the faraway land of Czechoslovakia, in the year 1923, there was a church. But the building didn't look like a church that most people would expect. It had no bells, no spires, no stained glass windows. It had no organ to make beautiful music. It didn't even have a piano. It had no carvings of wood or statues of stone. It had no candles or chalices. It had no flowers. The church did have some things. It had 4 walls and a ceiling and a floor and a door and a few windows. It had some wooden chairs, but that was all. Plain and simple. Except the church also had people who came to it every Sunday. It had a minister, and his name was Norbert Čapek. He had been the minister at the plain and simple church for 2 years. And every Sunday, Minister Čapek went to church, and he spoke to the people while they listened. They sat quietly and still in the wooden chairs. When he was done speaking, the people would talk for a little bit amongst themselves, and then they went home. And that was all. No music, no candles, no food, not even coffee and treats. Springtime came to the city of Prague, and Norbert Čapek went out for a stroll. The rains had come, the birds were singing, and the flowers were blooming all over the land. The world was beautiful. Then an idea came to him, simple and clear and plain as day. The next Sunday, he asked all the people in his church to bring a flower, or a budding branch, or even a twig. Each person was to bring one. What kind, they asked. What color? What size? You choose, he said. Each of you choose what you like. And so on the next Sunday, which was the first day of summer, the people came with flowers of all different colors and sizes. There were daisies. Do we have any daisies? We have lots of daisies. There were roses. Do we have any roses? We have one? All right, there we go. There were lilies and asters. You see a lily? I don't know if you all know what an aster looks like. I don't know if I know what an aster looks like. Not in the midst of all these other flowers. Pansies and light green leaves. Pink and purple, orange and gold. I think we can find most of those colors up here.
I found purple and pink.
You found purple and pink. Is there any orange?
Yeah, I found
Kind of orangey on here. Some yellow. Yellow, which is kind of, yeah, gold. Red, lots of colors. All the colors of the rainbow. Flowers filled vases, and the church wasn't so plain and simple anymore. Minister Chopek spoke to the people while they listened, sitting quietly, still in those hard chairs. These flowers are like ourselves, he said. Different colors and different shapes and different sizes. Look around, I'm pretty sure, yeah, we all look different. Each needs different kinds of care, but each beautiful, each important and special in its own way. When he was done speaking, the people talked a bit amongst themselves, and then they each chose a different flower from the vases before they went home. And that was all. And it was beautiful, plain and simple as the day. The flower ceremony continued each year, even after Norbert Chopek was detained by the Nazis in Dachau concentration camp in 1942. He held a flower ceremony with his fellow prisoners, finding whatever flowers they could amongst the weeds of the camp. They testified to a beauty larger than themselves and a love that would outlive them. What we are doing here today is not just a historical reenactment of something over and done. It is an affirmation of our continuity with the generations behind us for the struggle for liberation. This flower ceremony, lovely though it is not something apart from our reality. It is a gentle fierceness which proclaims that in the midst of hard days, there is always the light of beauty. We are not here to recall something that has happened, but to remember something that is happening, to remember, to put back together again. And in that remembering, may we put ourselves back together again, each as a part of the body of this community, out of many, one. Shall we sing our song, friends?
We are children of the stars, we are children of the earth, we are spinners and weavers in this web of life, and the joy that we weave reaches out beyond the stars and deep within the center of our being. We are children of tomorrow, we are children of our dreams, we are planters and builders in this web of life, and the future that we weave reaches out beyond the stars and deep within the center of our being.
Good morning, everyone. So I would like to welcome the membership committee to come forward. I am Chris Lautz, I'm co-chair. We have Rick Walter, Chris Walter, Jane Watts, and missing today are, oh, where's Diane? There's Diane. Missing today are Frank Swinehart, Peter Brower, and John Hoffman. So now it's my pleasure to invite the new-to-be members to come up. Bring your insert from your order of service, and you're going to be lining up in front of the stage here. So I'm calling Cal Bolter, Doug Roberts, Jeff Holm, David Chandler, Karen Casebeer, Jackie Carnegie Valcher, John Carnegie, Kathy Sanders, Kim Holmes, Teresa Stevens, and Chris Davis. You may have noticed it was a long list. We have 11 today. And if I remember what Reverend Alex told me this morning, that's 96 new members in about 5 years. He wants 4 more for 100, but I can't handle it, so out of luck. Okay, so Rick and I are going to be, they submitted 2 things they want us to know. Rick and I are going to read them. As we read your name, please step forward so people can figure out who we're talking about. Rick, you want to go first?
Okay, Karen Casebeer shared with us, I'm excited to be joining UUCGT because this congregation more deeply reflects my Buddhist, Native American, Jesus-following, and nature-loving belief system than any other spiritual tradition I've belonged to. Thank you for your warm welcome. I feel like I've come home. Thank you, Karen.
Oh, the applause, please. We're
Yeah.
never going to get through this.
And Doug Roberts, I write poems on birthday cards we send. I lived with Sarah, my wife, on a 42-foot sailboat for 12 years, and we're still together. Kathy Sanders, I believe that there are many paths that we are called to follow, and by exploring as many as we can live a life of fullness and bring fullness to those we meet along the way. I firmly believe that everyone deserves second chances, and I devote my time to helping others in finding their better selves. And Jeff Holmes. Jeff's first job was at 10 years old as a docent for a historical house museum. He thinks that will be his encore career after retirement.
David Chandler. David is the 8th child of a family of 11 children. In case you couldn't tell, he was raised Catholic. Kim Holmes. I never thought I'd be able to join a religious community after the way I was brought up, but I'm so happy to now be in this space that welcomes questions and diversity. My current belief system leans toward the natural world and pagan traditions. Teresa Stevens. I am a recovering Catholic UU and aspiring witch. I spent 25 years working for nonprofits, but what I always wanted to do was write novels. Chris Davis. I love nature, birds, critters, wildflowers, and photography. I consider northern Michigan my home, although I've never lived here year-round. Ha ha. Cal Bolter likes to photograph, and he had his art on the wall in the hallway just recently, and also recently just moved to within walking distance of the church, so we'll be meeting at his house later. Jackie Carnegie Valtar, I got flip pages here, and John Carnegie. We have lived in Traverse City for 1 3/4 years now and attending UUCGT for that entire period, whether in the pews or remotely. Although TC is very different from Texas, people here are friendly and polite, and it is starting to feel like home. Okay, so now we're moving up to Chris Walter. Oh, I lied, Jane. Jane Watts.
We, the current members of the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Grand Traverse, welcome you into our circle of love and commitment. May you find comfort here, for life often carries with it pain, so may you find joy in the shared gifts and life and love. May you be challenged here, for questioning is a source of love and learning. May you add your voice to ours, finding harmony in diversity, and we affirm. May you build on your faith here, a faith that sustains you during life's transitions. May you find a spiritual home here, creating with us a community that welcomes all. Above all, may you help us to create a better world, cultivating human wholeness and an authentic independence.
And Chris Walter. Now you can use your covenant that was in your order of service.
And if the congregation would turn to their insert. This is a welcoming the new member reading and it's been written by Manish Mishra Marzetti. He is the minister at the UU in Ann Arbor. So the new members recite with me. We enter this faith with hope and possibility in our hearts, pledging to participate in and support the ministries of this congregation. We covenant to remain true to the spirit of love that flows through this congregation and guides us. We seek your welcome as we join you in this faith. And the congregation responds, we welcome you as once we were welcomed ourselves. We seek to be open and inclusive, respecting your inherent dignity, your ideas, and your vision in times when it is easy and in times when it is difficult. We seek to be supportive, not only when you reach out in courage to us, but also when you need us to reach out to you. In return, we ask that you recognize our humanity. We will not always live up to our ideals. And when we fall short, we invite you to stay in relationship with us and help us more fully bring alive the spirit of love. We welcome you as an equal member of this congregation, of this faith, and of our shared spiritual journey. So we warmly welcome each of you into this community of caring, of social justice action, of learning and wisdom, and so much more. Thank you.
So now we will be handing out, Alex has got certificates, and Chris, Walter, and Diane have goodies and a lot of information in the folder. So Chris Walter has put together all the little goodie bags. So I want to give her, and it's sourced from Michigan products or artists or whatever. We also, welcome to each of you here, and here is the small welcome gift. So new members, the last final step you'll need to do is after the service, stop by the welcome table so you can sign the membership book to make you officially official. And a couple of you still have a form to fill out for me, for our, I know, forms everywhere, record keeping. So I want to thank you to all the friendly congregational members for welcoming these new members when they first started attending services here. And we invite everyone to join in the fellowship hall for celebratory refreshments after the service. And as new members, if you want, you could take a yellow mug so people will come up and talk to you, just so you identify yourself. And I think that's it. Welcome to all.
So I'm going to invite everyone to join with me in singing a welcome to our new members. It's called A Place for You, and it's a call and response, so I'll sing the verse first, then you go ahead and join me, and there'll be 3 verses. Spirit made a place for you where everything is new. Join me. Spirit made a place for you where everything is new. Love has made a place for you where everything is new. Love has made a place for you where everything is new. Grace has made a place for you where everything is new. Grace has made a place for you where everything is new. Thank you.
Now is the time in our service when we rely on your generosity to support our congregation and to support some special needs in our community. As the baskets are passed, you will see there are 2 sides. They are labeled. One is to support the congregation and its community, the building, the heat, the light, the windows, the plants outside. All of these are brought by your generosity. When the basket comes to you, it will have 2 sides. One side for the congregation, the other side is for community needs such as food, shelter, and so forth. We thank you for your generous offering.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ann Swaney. I'm a member of our congregational care team, and there's lots more of us within the group here. And if you feel the need to speak to any of us personally, please, we'll be at Social Hall afterwards, and we have the purple ribbons on our name tags. So before I start, I wanted to share all my joys. I'm just so grateful to be in this congregation and seeing all the wonderful new members and thinking about all their attributes that they're going to bring to us over the coming years. It's wonderful, and on a beautiful day like this, I mean, how can we not be full of joy? But unfortunately, we have concerns also. Bill Hislop, he just learned that a favorite cousin was diagnosed with untreatable leukemia and has maybe 6 months to live. Someone named Deanne has joy and gratitude today that I celebrate 1 year of sobriety, and I'm so grateful for all the wonderful changes that have been brought into my life, including becoming a part of this congregation. Welcome, Deanne. This is good news. Heather Shoemaker is celebrating two graduations, 1 week apart. Her two boys, Luke from Traverse City West, going into a musical theater program at Western Michigan, and Xander, who's graduating from Vassar College as a music major, and we've all heard Xander from time to time do his thing. Then I should have read this first, but we can do this. So we're holding the joys, the concerns, the milestones, and moments of this gathered community, and we'll do this throughout the service. If anything feels too heavy to carry alone, please reach out to a member of our congregational care team. We have a mantra now, and most of you know it, so say it with me. None of us is meant to travel life's journey alone. And I'd like to have a moment of silence in memory of Dave and Mary Newhouse's grandson, Tanner, who passed away just a year ago. And also a moment of stillness for what remains in the silence and on our hearts.
Now is the time in our service for our stone meditation. So I invite you to come forward as you feel moved and to take a stone. Maybe this would represent something that is heavy that you need to set down. Or maybe it's a joy that you're just so filled with excitement to share that you want to come share it. It can be whatever it needs to be for you. So come forward as you feel ready.
please join me in singing Spirit of Life. Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots only cross, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
The story of the flower communion and its origins is a story for our times today. It's one that you've already heard Chelsea share. It's one that you've also likely heard if you've ever been to a UU flower communion before. The flower communion is a Czechoslovakian Unitarian tradition created by the Reverend Norbert Čapek 103 years ago. A tradition that affirms through ritual the immeasurable worth of each and every human being. That by virtue of all that makes us different, we are enriched when we live in community together. That we need not be afraid of one another, as we see how great beauty emerges when we come together in our differences. This ritual of bringing flowers to share and taking home a different flower with you tells us how we are transformed and changed in community together. It was a ritual created years before it was necessary, celebrated by Reverend Čapek with his church decades before the Nazis invaded Czechoslovakia during World War II. Reverend Čapek felt that the traditional Christian communion of bread and wine wouldn't fully meet the spiritual needs of his parishioners, as they all believed different things. Sound familiar? Turning to the countryside, he asked members of his church to bring with them flowers from their gardens and fields. And just like we're doing today, those members placed their flowers in large vases up on the altar, showing the richness of their gathered community. Reverend Čapek himself was captured by the Nazis as a political dissident and taken to the Dachau concentration camp, where he was later executed. Remarkably, during his time in the camp, Reverend Čapek led those imprisoned there in their own flower communion, using whatever they could find as flowers, from stray weeds to defiant blooms to even makeshift flowers of their own creation. I find it striking to remember that they still practiced this tradition, despite all the odds. How even in the depths of hopelessness, they still chose each other, affirming human dignity and wholeness against the machinations of fascism, genocide, and empire, still choosing to come together, even then. In our country right now, we are seeing constant and consistent affronts to human dignity, especially targeting the most vulnerable among us. Recently, the White House published a sick website on aliens, referring to immigrants in the most dehumanizing manner, labeling them with the pronoun it, and making a dangerous mockery of immigrants as aliens. The White House also recently published an official counterterrorism strategy last month, designating violent secular political groups whose ideology is anti-American, radically pro-transgender, and anarchist, to use their language, as a national security priority. The document calls for mapping membership, identifying ties, and using law enforcement tools to, quote, cripple those targets. And while this language focuses on ideology so far and not specific people, we also know from history that when the state begins mapping the membership of those it considers dangerous, all of us are no longer safe. And also, as of last month, the Department of Defense issued a memo to reduce the number of recognized religions in the military from 211 to just 31. Unitarian Universalists, humanists, atheists, and pagans, as well as many others, were removed, meaning they will now be listed as other rather than by their specific identity. The UUA believes that this may make it harder for UU service members to access spiritual care, and they are developing a strategic response. But in all three of these cases, we are witnessing a slow creep of dehumanization and definition of both in-groups and out-groups, defining the us and the them. Each of these things attempts to erode the dignity of the human person, signaling more and more by this government both who is worthy and who is expendable. In holding this history and all that is unfolding today, I wonder what Reverend Chopik would have to say to us now, if he could. In a time of our own political and moral reckoning, as human dignity continues to see these affronts, what would Reverend Chopik tell us about being good neighbors in this time? What would he say? I think about our beautiful tradition and how we ourselves are nurtured and strengthened by this act of coming together. I think that's why many of you come to this place, knowing that here you can fill your cup, but also find people who care deeply about the world we're actively building. And in bringing your own unique self to this table, to these shared communal vases, you witness how you are pulled and compelled to fill each other's cups also. Community is never only just about filling your own cup. It's finding ways to be both filled, but also filling, showing up for others as fully and as much as we can. In this present climate, we need a radical filling of cups, a radical coming together not unlike our communion that we celebrate today. We need places and spaces where we continue to affirm our differences, where we overlap with people who are different from ourselves. Places in society where we practice being neighborly, where we dissolve the bounds and barriers around us, around our flimsy categories of who is in or out, refusing to be torn apart from one another, either physically or in ideology. The prophet of many generations, I'm reminded of the wise words of Mr. Fred Rogers, someone who spoke extensively to being loving good neighbors, even when it's hard. In his words, it's very important to look inside yourself and to find that loving part of you. That's the part that you must take good care of, because that's the part of you that allows you to love your neighbor. And your neighbor is anyone you happen to be with at any time in life. Respecting and loving your neighbor can give everybody a good feeling. The flower communion is a reminder of this good feeling, that the still small voice in the depths of your soul is still speaking despite all the odds. This communion is an invitation to return to yourself, where divinity and humanity meet. This, Reverend Chopik tells us, is our refuge in times of such rampant dehumanization, threatening to turn us away rather than toward our neighbors. We as Unitarian Universalists affirm a collective liberation. What affects one of us affects us all. Our mission here at UUCGT is more than just a set of passive phrases, especially that one phrase, radical love, and all that it entails. What's quietly radical about radical love is the insistence that all of us are included within it. that none of us are outside of the bounds of love, safety, and dignity. All of us are worthy, and all of us are beloved. We're in this together, friends. Let this communion speak to you not as a simple exchange of flowers. Instead, may it be a potent reminder of the immeasurable dignity within your very own soul. And like Mr. Rogers says, don't forget that loving part within you that calls you to love others. Our neighbor is no different and no further than the one who is near us, all those who we encounter in this life. Our flourishing depends on this, on our ability to resist the dehumanization and division, choosing instead to be good neighbors ourselves. And so may I ask you, please won't you be my neighbor? Amen. Let's pause in a moment of stillness and look at this abundance of flowers before us, holding on our minds and hearts the many things we are grateful for from this past year, the gratitude we have for what one another brings to this sacred and gathered community. Take a moment and just put that good energy up here into these flowers. And in having shared in this ritual together, having shared in collective beauty, I recognize these flowers as blessed. And may these flowers remind us of the uniqueness that each one of us brings to this place and that special, powerful, sacred something that happens when we come together. Amen, and blessed be. So in a moment, just like we did earlier, we're going to invite you to come forward in groups to take a different flower from the flower you brought. This is to symbolize the blessing found in our differences and our own uniqueness and how we take something different away from us when we come together. And if you would like a flower to be brought to you, if you're someone that can't quite make the trip up here, just raise your hand and we'll be sure that you can get a flower. So let's now share in these flowers together.
have a little bit of a change for our final song. Your wonderful music director, who I believe was playing in Carnegie Hall this weekend, being an incredible rock star that she is, yes. She actually sent me the song "We Shall Be Known." So it's a cappella. I think you guys have sung this before. So I will start, join in as it feels comfortable to you, and we're going to sing it 3 times through. Here we go. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle around to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. And it is time now, it is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. And it is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. Again. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle around to tend these fires. Yeah. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. And it is time now, it is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. And it is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great journey we shall learn to lead in love. In this great journey we shall learn to lead in love. For the last one, if you want to stand, go ahead and join me. 1, 2, here we go. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle around to tend these fires. Yeah. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. And it is time now, it is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. And it is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. One more time. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love.
While you're standing, you're invited to take hands with your neighbor or to outstretch your hands in the symbol of "Please do not touch me." Anne's going to come forward and offer our releasing words.
Our words for releasing the flame today come from Norbert Chapek's wife, widow and wife. She says, "No 2 flowers are alike. No 2 people are alike. Yet each of you has a contribution to make to the beautiful bouquet of our beloved community. Go enjoy beauty and compassion."
And in the spirit of covenant, community, and commitment, may we be made ready to serve one another and to create the world we so desperately dream of. Go in peace, pass a little squeeze or an Air 5, and happy Sunday.